Graphing calculator is such an advanced tool, but if you don't know how to use it, it can be a nightmare. That is why I have decided to make a series of videos on graphing calculator to help you use it optimally. Though Casio CG50 is a very user-friendly tool, but it will be worthwhile to watch these videos, especially if you are a beginner at using graphing calculator. So let's start it. This is the home screen of Casio CG50, and this comes when you turn on the calculator or when you push menu. All the important functions in CG50 are divided into various clusters. Those are known as menu. So one, run matrix, you do all your computational related problem. Statistics, as name suggests, any statistical test or statistics, you do it here. Spreadsheet is more like Microsoft Excel or numbers, and you do statistical calculations there. Graph to plot functions, dynamic graph to help you analyze graph in very interesting way, etc. So I'll explain all these one by one. And if you come down, you see various keys here. So let me divide these keys into three broad sections. One section is the lower portion, which has mainly number keys and basic operations keys like plus, minus, division, etc. The middle portion has more of grammatical keys like log, sign, variable, etc. and some important keys in terms of menu options, etc. And the third most important set of keys are F1 till F6. Those help you select functions, and these are very useful keys while you plot and analyze any graph. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's get into run matrix by pushing 1. Let's do some scientific calculations. Let's say I would like to find out the value of sine of pi by 2 radian. So I'll push sine, and pi is here. Okay, so you notice pi is written in yellow. So in order to execute this pi, I'll have to push shift first. So I'll push shift, and to get pi over 2. So sine of pi over 2 is 0. Why? Sine of pi over 2 is 1. Yes, because this has calculated sine of pi and divided it by 2. Sine of pi is 0, divided by 2 is 0. So we need to be very careful that pi over 2 should be in parentheses. So I'll push sine, I'll start bracket, I'll push shift, pi divided by 2, bracket close, hit execute. There you go, sine of pi over 2 is 1. So it's very important to use bracket or always follow BODMAS. Okay, so let's take some more example. Let's say I would like to find a value of log of 1000. So log is the button here, 1000, hit execute, and he got it. Log of 1000 is 3. But what if you would like to find out log of 1000 to the base 2? You don't have an option of putting base here, right? So we'll find out a log template now. Okay, so on the keys you do not find it, right? So on the keys there are only a few functions. Most of the functions are either displayed here or hidden in option button. So if you hit optn, you would see lot many new functions coming in here. Okay, let's exit. And there are some functions in the math, so I would like to go into math by pushing F4, and you see log AB. Push F2. See there, now you can keep your desired base and the number. So log of 1000 to the base 2 is 9.96. Alright, so this is how you do basic calculation here. And while you have already gone into math menu, besides log AB, you have absolute function, first order derivative, second order derivative. You can select and calculate. For instance, if you would like to find out summation, so hit F2. So we have to put in the nth term here. So let's say I'll keep it in terms of x. So let's say it is x square, and my x is starting from, let's say I would like to find out from fifth term till 100th term. It execute, it calculates the summation of x square, where x starting from fifth until 100. Okay, because this is an introductory video, I'm not going to talk in details about other functions. So press exit to come back to your home command bar, and let's push menu to come back to your menu screen. Now let's see something in statistics. So push number 2 and get in the statistics. When you come to statistics, you see there are options of inputting your list 1, list 2, list 3, list 4. So let's put some random list 1. So let's say we would like to find out temperature of Singapore. Okay, so we'll take 10 days random temperature. So I'll say, let's say 19, 24, 26, 28. Alright, purposely have kept some outliers as well. Okay, so I have the list now, and I would like to find out statistical values. First of all, very simple things, right? So I'll push calc, that is F2, and I have one variable list. I'll say one variable F1, and wow, in a GP it calculates everything. So our x bar, that is mean, is 20. Summation of x is 200, summation of x is square 4438, standard deviation, population deviation, number of observation. Scroll down to see your minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, maximum, etc. So you have everything here. Let us say you would like to do a regression later. Okay, so let me add a list 2 as well. So my list 2 says, let's say 8.5, 11, 12, 13, 6, 5. Okay, so we have list 1 and list 2, and we would like to find out equation of best fit line. So I'll push F3, and I would like to do a standard, so F1 and AX plus B. Okay, there you go. So you see our r square value is 0.99, so the equation fits very well. So the lineup equation is 0.47x minus 0.55. Okay, let's go back. Let's do one more thing. Let's see if you would like to plot a scatter plot of these two lists. Okay, so what we can do, we can go to graph f1 here, and let's set it. What kind of graph we would like to? We would like to find out a scatter plot. Okay, so it gives various options whether you want to do a scatter plot, xy line, pie chart, or what, and then it gives you option to select your list. Okay, so it is already selected very well. Hit graph 1 and it plots a scatter plot for you. Okay, so let's quickly go back to menu now, and let's see. I'll also explain graph. Okay, so how do we plot graph? Number 5 to go into graph, and let's plot a very basic graph. Let's plot negative x square plus 6. All right. So you just have to type in your function here, hit execute, and then you can see draw written here. So hit F6 to plot the graph. All right. So once you have entered input, once you have put in your function, hit F6 and the graph would be plotted. Let's say we would like to trace this function, trace this graph, and find out the value of y at various x. So you can see trace is written in F1. Push F1 and you can quickly press it. You can see X and Y values. And if you're interested in finding out any particular Y value for any given X, let's say what is the value of Y when X is 2.3, you just put 2.3 and it will give you the value of Y when X is 2.3. Okay, let's see what else is there. So if you hit shift, you can see all these options coming up. This and a very important function is gsolve. So if you would like to find out roots of this graph, you would push gsolve, that is F5, and then say root. So F1, so it takes you to the first root, that is X as negative 2.44, and when you push the right button, it takes you to the second root, that X equals to 2.44. Very quick. Similarly, you have some more options here. You can find out maximum, minimum, y-intercept, intersect, integration area under the curve, etc. I'll share a more detailed video to explain about all these functions later. Now let's do one thing. Let's plot one more graph. So hit exit to go back to the graph entry line, and let's plot a straight line equation. Okay, so I'll plot 2x plus 1. Hit execute, and in order to draw, you can hit execute again to draw it, rather if you don't want to go to F6. Alright, so now you have two graphs on the same graph line, and if you're interested in finding out point of intersection between these two graphs, let's push gsolve and intersect F5 and see very quickly it calculates and find out your point of intersection. The first point of intersection is at x equals to negative 3.44, y 5.89, and second point of intersection is at x equals to 1.44, y equals to 3.89. This is super fast, isn't it? All right, so let's go back to menu now, and let's go to table this time. So what table does, table basically copies any other function that you have written in graph command. So you remember you have put in two equations, negative x squared plus 6 and 2x plus 1. When you hit execute, it gives you a table of these two functions. So at times you would like to find out values of the given two equations for various x. So when x is changing from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, it is giving various values. And at any point of time, if you want to change x values by, let's say, 0.5, so we can go to set by F5 and here. So let's say I would like to start from 10 and at 20, and our change should be 0.5. Right, so let's see. Now the table is starting from 10, going to 10.5, 11, 11.5, and so on, so forth. This is very useful, isn't it? At any point of time, if you realize you would like to find out value of any given x, let's say you set this table from 10 to 20, but you wanted to find out for 35, let's say, you just hit 35 here and hit, and see, you get the value of y for given x as 35. So that's a good trick here. Okay, let's go back to menu once again, and let's see the last function today, that is equation. So if you would like to solve any polynomial or simultaneous equation, you would come to equation. So I'll say execute, and it gives you three options: simultaneous equation, polynomial, or solver. So let's say we would like to do a simultaneous equation. Hit F1. Now it asks you how many unknowns. So I would say okay, two unknown only. So hit F1. So you have to put in coefficient here. The equation is in terms of ax plus by equals to c. So let's say my first equation is 2x plus 3y equals to 13. So the values would be 2, 3, and 13. And let's say my second equation is 4x minus y equals to 5. Okay, so 4, negative 1, and 5. Okay, let's hit F1 to solve it, and there you go. It gives the value of x and y as 2 and 3. Very fast, isn't it? Okay, let's exit once again and come to the home screen of equation and let's solve one polynomial. So I'll say f2 this time. Let's again take a very simple 2-degree polynomial equation, and this time the equation is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. And let's say our equation is, let's take the very simple equation like x square minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. So my coefficient of x square would be 1, coefficient of x would be negative 5, okay, and constant would be 6. Let's solve it, and there you go, you get the value of x in 3 and 2, right? Okay, so let's move forward. Let's push menu again, and let's see dynamic graph now. So dynamic graph is another extension to your graphing feature of CG50. Let me delete these two functions that we have plotted earlier. Dynamic graphing is very useful when you would like to learn or teach translation, transformation, or how a function behaves when some coefficients are changing. So let's take a simple example of straight line equation. So let's say I say a times x plus 4, okay, and let's go into var. I would like to change a from 1 till 5, or let's say negative 5 till 5, okay. Let's push F6. So what it is going to do, it is giving you so many versions of the same equation. So the value of a is changing from negative 5 to 5. So negative 5x plus 4, negative 4x plus 4, negative 3x plus 4, negative 2x plus 4, and ending till 5x plus 4. And you can quickly say what happens when the coefficient of x, that is slope, basically slope is changing how your equation is behaving. So it is becoming increasing function to decreasing function, so on and so forth. Let me take some different example. Instead of this, let's take ax square plus 4, all right, and let's do the same negative 5 till 5, okay, and let's make it dynamic graph. Now what is going to happen, you see, when a is negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, it is downward parabola, and when a is greater than 0, it becomes upward parabola. Something very interesting to see, when a becomes 0, it becomes a straight line equation. So those things can easily be understood and explained using dynamic graphing. Okay, let's hit AC to stop it, and let's hit menu. Now something that is very critical and useful for graphing calculator is your system. There you do all the necessary settings. So if you go to system, you have various options like F1 to display settings. You can change the contrast. F2 is power settings. You can always do the necessary settings to save your battery power. F3 is language. F4 is version. This is very important, right? So you should always check for the latest version and upgrade to the latest version. Then F5 is reset. At any point of time you are facing any problem, your calculator is not behaving the way it should, you can always come to reset and reset your calculator. Maybe F4 is reset, F1 is main in storage, F2 is initialize all. So you can hit F2 and then you can hit F1 to confirm, and this reinitialize everything. If you want to factory reset it completely, then you can say F4 to reset it. Let's go exit, and then you have OS update as well. So you hit F5 to update the OS. For that, you would have to download the updated OS from Casio International website, and then you can upgrade your handheld as well. So that's it. Thank you very much for your time. Hope the video was informative and you enjoyed it. Thank you.